Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer brought to you by Forge College. So in our last session, we locked down our protocols, right? We explored common multisig implementations and their trade-offs to really protect the vault. But today we actually get to play crash test engineers. We're rolling up our sleeves to build and simulate deposit and borrow flows. We're going to interact with the Solana lending protocol vault safely and see exactly what happens under the hood. Let's dive right in. Here's our blueprint index for today. First, we'll welcome you to the sandbox. Then, we'll prepare our lab assets. From there, we execute a deposit, followed by a borrow. After that, we actually simulate a liquidation. And finally, we'll validate our blueprints. Simple as that. Okay, step 1. Welcome to the sandbox. Listen, before we even think about touching mainnet, we absolutely need a risk-free environment. Think of it as our highly secure, heavily padded crash test facility. Because, let's be honest, mainnet means real money, incredibly high stress, and permanent consequences. One tiny typo, boom, your funds are gone. But a local sandbox validator, that means fake money, zero risk, and completely stress-free testing. We can literally blow up the vault, mint 1 billion tokens, and sleep like babies at night. That relaxing environment is exactly where you want to be when you're first integrating smart contracts. Moving on to step 2, preparing the lab assets. Let's lay out our tools and set up our local project folder using the Solana CLI. Honestly, we only need 4 essential JavaScript files to construct this whole demo. You've got deploy sandbox.js to configure our mints and a mock oracle, then txdeposit.js assembles our deposit, txborrow.js handles the borrowing, and finally txliquidate.js, which is where we actually get to manipulate the oracle and force a liquidation. It's clean, simple, and perfectly organized. 1 billion. Literally a 1 followed by 9 zeros. Since we're hanging out in our sandbox using our deployment script, we have the absolute unchecked power to just mint 1 billion fake tokens to our test wallet. Why? Well, mostly just because we can. But functionally speaking, it ensures we have virtually infinite test liquidity for our experiments, so we never hit a wall while we're building. All right, step 3, executing the deposit. It's time to pull the first lever in our lab and crack open our deposit script. Now, the crucial programmatic sequence here happens in 3 exact steps. Step 1, we execute a system or SPL token transfer, basically moving our fake wealth from our wallet over to the protocol's vault. Step 2, we invoke the protocol's deposit instruction. Now, we absolutely must include the correct account metas here, explicitly pointing to the payer account, our collateral account, and the protocol's collateral vault. And step 3, we simulate the transaction via RPC to catch any failures before we actually send it. At the very heart of this step is what we call a cross-program invocation, or CPI. Now, I know it sounds super complex, but really, it's simply a programmatic call from one smart contract to another. Kind of like interlocking gears passing instructions along a machine. Our deposit script uses this exact mechanism to trigger the lending protocol's deposit entry point. One gear turns another, and the vault safely accepts our tokens. Step 4, executing the borrow. Now that our vault is fully funded, we move into the next phase, pulling tokens out to increase our position. To do this, we have to feed the machine the correct inputs. Otherwise, well, the gears just jam. So here are the essential on-chain accounts that absolutely must be passed into the borrow transaction. The borrower account, the obligation account that tracks our debt, the protocol reserve, the protocol collateral account, the price feed account from the oracle, and of course, the token program itself. If you forget even one of these, your simulation will politely crash. Oh, and this brings us to a really crucial engineering tip. When you pass numeric amounts in your instruction data, they need to be formatted as unsigned 64-bit integers using little endian buffers. You'll often see libraries like bn.js used for this. If you just casually toss a regular JavaScript integer in there, the on-chain program is going to decode it entirely wrong. You might try to borrow 10 tokens and accidentally ask for 10 trillion, causing an instant transaction failure. Little endian buffers, folks. Seriously, write that down. All right, step 5, simulating a liquidation. Okay, so this is the climax of our explainer. It is time to put on our mad scientist goggles, intentionally crash the system, and observe how the safety mechanisms react. But before we break it, we really need to understand the math. Loan to value, or LTV, is the ratio of your outstanding loan compared to the total value of your supplied collateral. So if you supply $100 and borrow 50, your LTV is 50%. Simple enough, right? This ratio acts as the ultimate health factor for a borrower. Directly tied to that LTV is the maintenance margin. This is your specific line in the sand, the actual liquidation threshold. If a borrower's collateral value drops or if their debt grows too much and they cross this margin, their position immediately becomes under-collateralized. Basically, the protocol is now at risk. And guess what? We're about to deliberately breach this threshold by completely tanking our mock Oracle price. So here's our evil plan to force the margin event. Step 1, we dive into our sandbox and manually lower the mock Oracle price. Step 2, we refetch the Oracle data to confirm that the market plunge actually registered. Step 3, we assemble the liquidate instruction. And finally, Step 4, we check the program logs and watch with glee as the protocol's safety mechanisms automatically step in, reducing the borrower's obligation and transferring collateral to the liquidator to save the whole system. Honestly, it's just beautiful science in action. And finally, Step 6, validating the blueprints. Now we pivot to the final phase, which is checking our lab gauges to ensure the smart contracts reacted correctly to all our chaotic testing. To actually read those gauges, we use something called account deserialization. This basically means decoding the on-chain account data back into a readable numerical state. Think of it like decoding an airplane's black box after a crash test. We aren't just glancing at the top-level token balance. We're extracting the exact underlying numeric state to see precisely what happened upon impact. Let's run through the essential post-flight validation checks we need to observe in our JSON snapshots. Number 1, the deposit should have decreased the payer's associated token account and increased the vaults. 2, the borrow must show an increased obligation principal for our user. 3, our simulated liquidation must have reduced the borrower principal deterministically, exactly as the math dictates. And 4, absolutely no unhandled error messages in the program logs. If all 4 check out, then our integration is rock solid. But what happens if one of these confirmations fails? What if the black box shows a catastrophic failure? Well, just keep this quick triage checklist handy. First, verify the writable flags on your account metas. If an account needs to be modified but isn't flagged as writable, it's gonna fail. Second, check that integer endianness we talked about earlier. And third, confirm that your mock Oracle actually updated properly before you fired off the liquidation command. Which brings us right to our 3 golden rules of integration. Always simulate first, always deserialize to validate state, and always test your edge cases safely in a sandbox. These principles are absolutely vital, and honestly, it's exactly the kind of rigorous engineering mindset we heavily emphasize across all the learning programs at Forge College. It really is the difference between a novice just guessing at code and a pro meticulously engineering a system. So what's up next in the curriculum? Yield strategy fundamentals. We're going to take the exact artifacts and snapshots you generated in today's sandbox lab and use them to calculate real annual percentage rate implications and risk-adjusted returns. We've built the foundation, and now the math is about to get very real and very profitable. So my final question for you is this. Are you ready to take your transaction demo out of the sandbox and into the wild? I really hope you had as much fun breaking things today as I did. Make sure to visit forge.college to learn more about this subject, dive into yield strategies, and explore a ton of other amazing Web3 topics. Until next time, keep building, keep simulating, and stay curious.